And hailing frequencies are open. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Clear Skies sort of Q&A live stream that we're doing remotely for the very first time. So if you are going to see us do any kind of like technical wonkiness, please be patient with us as we're working out all the bugs. We've been curating a bunch of... Oh, is there echo? Are you kidding me? I'm seeing echo in chat. Are we getting echo? There was. It's gone. Excellent. Fixed, because we have Jake working the board remotely. Big shout out real quick, of course, to QueueTimes and to Jake, who's working remotely as TD right now back at the studio and who's coordinating all of this. And also a big thanks to, of course, the people that helped put this together today, namely one Aki, but also a big thank you to Sam Delev, who helped orchestrate and get everyone their equipment and get everything up and going. Huge thank yous to Sam Delev, because they literally was grabbing equipment, coordinating who needed the equipment, and then running it all over town and getting people their equipment. So shower Sam with enough love to shame them.
They're amazing! Make them a blush monster!
Yes, please.
I think you will find I did not literally run anything.
Yeah, that would be a little disorienting. On that note, I do have, on the note of disorientation, I actually have a bunch of questions that we've been curating for everybody regarding Clear Skies. We're also going to be taking questions from chat. Our elder mods are here today, as I like to call them, and they are going to be curating some of the questions into the document that I'm going to be reading off. So I'm going to be kind of like the moderator for this Q&A episode of Clear Skies. So. But before we begin, I just want to tell everybody, I hope everybody is staying healthy. I hope everyone is managing it pretty well. Please remember to reach out and chat to people. Isolation can be really tough. We were talking about this today on my stream, and I'll get to that later. But it's really important to connect with people in these like really difficult times of being sort of isolated from other people. You know, we're social animals. It's one of the reasons why banishment was one of the worst possible punishments in the history of humankind. And as social creatures, we do kind of require that human contact, and it's really good for it. So if you are out there having a tricky time during a time of isolation and social distancing, reach out, tweet, say hi to people, and come chill with us and on our live streams when you see us gaming or anything like that. So just wanted to reach out and kind of tell you guys that. Before we kick off the Q&A and get into this, I want to see how my crew's doing. Like, how are you guys doing? How is everybody? Who wants to go first? Somebody talk.
I unmuted, so I guess that'll be me. I'm doing pretty all right. What's up?
Yeah,
how you doing?
Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. I miss you guys a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it?
I'm the type of person who needs lots of hugs, and I'm not getting them right now, and I'm sad.
Yeah.
It's okay. But I also just wanted to say a quick thank you, because my setup is actually thanks to all of you guys in chat. I wouldn't actually have a setup if not for all of the lovely birthday presents that you guys sent me off of my wish list. So thank you very much.
Yay. Ox crew is best crew, as Sam likes to say.
We're unmuted, so we'll go next.
Yeah.
We're like a two for one.
No,
What?
We gotta mute it again.
Go ahead.
No, it's been an interesting time because as a lot of people have been talking about online, you know that both of us do library bards, which we make most of our money doing these conventions and things, traveling all over. And with everything closing, things can get a little bit scary. But luckily, we have a Patreon of amazing supporters that have been just fantastic in this time, supporting us, allowing us to be able to to continue to live, during this time.
And it's actually forced me to work more on my solo album that I've been planning on releasing this year. So I've written songs. I'm actually going, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go in my room and record a video of me doing an original Bonnie original song. And I'll post it to Patreon. I'll make it public in a week or so, but Patreon gets first dibs.
And after this, then I have to go to my spot in the corner of your room with the whip, where I just make you do work until
Wait a minute, our personal life is getting a little too...
And muted. Original Bonnie music though, that's pretty rad. I've been looking forward to this for a while. Y'all do some pretty amazing. Y'all have been doing some pretty amazing parodies. I keep directing people towards. One of my favorite things that we have ever done was Star Trek Las Vegas and recording you guys. Yeah, man, I gotta say, like watching you guys blow the roof off the place with it was Connor Trenier.
Mm-hmm. It was Trip and who's the other white guy from Enterprise? Yeah, Malcolm. Yeah.
The other white guy. And what was one of the lines I say? Like, when we introduced the song, we were like, we all know who should have been the captain of the Enterprise.
And they both.
And so of course they were like,
yeah.
You had them fight each other. I was getting ready to hear the
Yeah.
Their shirts are ripped for some reason.
They start snapping in circles at each other.
Gina, how are you doing? How's everything going with you? Gina, you have to unmute yourself. Uh-oh. Oh God, the suspense. Oh no, we can't hear. Oh God, Gina. Oh, and Gina.exe has stopped functioning. Exio's voice modulation is having difficulty right now, everybody.
There's a glitch in the Matrix.
Okay, that's an old reference.
Hey,
now.
Okay, like that. Sorry, I'll mute myself again. I'll just stop aging myself, I guess.
We knew Exio was going to possibly have trouble because when we were setting this whole thing up, we knew that we didn't have the century appropriate holo emitters for this. So I guess I'll just move on to Rave, and then when Exio is ready to say something, she can just like scream at us. Rave, how are you doing?
Hi, Gina. Feel free to interrupt me anytime. More than happy to be interrupted by you. No, life is like weird, but I feel like I happen to just be in a very fortunate position. Like I have a job that like still somehow is continuing despite these weird and crazy times. I have like roommates, so like I'm not completely socially isolated from everything, and so it just feels it's weird, and I recognize how lucky I am to have those things, and so like it's me also trying to figure out, it's like, okay, now I'm in this position, like how can I help people that might not necessarily have those things, or it's like, so I'm trying to do as many runs for like coworkers who need it, and like it's a wild world, folks.
Yeah.
But thank you, Sam, for helping me get set up today. And also, basically, when I was like, Sam, why is my mic not working? And they were like, because there's no battery in it. And I'm like, that's it. So,
our science officer, everybody.
There we go. Needed an extended task for that.
Hey, you've got tech though. We've got an engineer. It's not like you should. You know how the machine works. It's not your job to power the damn thing. That's Xander's job. This is a failure of Xander.
Let's see.
Always is.
Anything?
Oh, hey, Gina.
Okay, I just switched to my computer mic. I guess this one just decided to stop.
Interestingly enough, I can actually hear you better on your computer mic.
What?
I can't do it.
Yeah. I can hear you a lot better on your computer mic.
Throw it away. Throw it away.
How's it going, Gina?
I've got a puppy in Stardew Valley, so I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I too have a person that I live with, so I'm not fully isolated, and my family and I have been Skyping more than I've ever. So it's weird. There's like an element of like, this is the most I've talked to people, which is like a weird, like, all right, because normally I just fly somewhere and see people for a long time, and then it's like, all right, I'll see you in a few more months. But now it's like I'm calling everybody every day to just sort of be like, hey, everyone's staying safe, everything good, and getting a way more face time, literally, with people. So it's weird.
Yeah.
And also, my crops are doing great.
I was going to ask you, have you gotten the greenhouse yet?
hell no. You know how long it took me to save up $10 or 10,000 just for a chicken coop?
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Or I guess 5,000. I thought it was 10,000, so I saved 10,000, and then I found out it was only 5,000, and I was like, I could have had chicken so long ago.
Two chicken coops.
Two chicken coops. We need. All right, so we need a Stardew Valley parody of the USS Ross, and we need it stat. I'm just thrilled because I just started planting an entire crop of ancient fruit in the greenhouse, and but I'm on year 6 though, so it's totally.
Technically, Amy Dallin has basically named everything on her Stardew Valley after all the Shield of Tomorrow characters, so we already have that one taken care of.
That's true.
Yes. I was really proud of I named my farm. I did like a great pun it only made me so happy. And it turns out when you do it on iPad, it lets you type in a full thing. And then as soon as you press start, it shortens it to whatever it actually shows in the tiny bar. Yeah. So it ruined my pun. And now my farm is named something so stupid.
What? Share it. You have to share it.
You have to share that.
Okay, so basically there is a Italian saying, dolce far niente, which is basically like pleasant idleness, which is like, what we're all doing. And so I named my farm Dolce Farm Niente, and I was so fucking proud of myself. And then now my farm is just called Dolce Farm. Dolce Far Farm. And I was like, so it's just the sweet far farm, I guess, which is fine, but not the pun I was going for.
Swiped. How about Sam? Are you having as many pun difficulties as Gina? I don't imagine.
It would not be becoming of me to compare myself to Gina DeVivo in any way, and therefore I shall not.
Also, you win at puns. It's no contest.
I would never dream of entering a contest with you. I would cede immediately to just your superior Gina-tude.
This reminds me, I still want to make this happen, Sam, but I still want to lock you and Darren DePaul in a cage for a pun off for 1 hour and just see who makes it out alive. My suspicion is you both would be fine and the rest of us would be dead in 15 to 20 minutes. Maybe.
Didn't you just share that memory where Darren DePaul literally murdered an entire room of people? So, no, that question is well answered, and the answer is Darren. Folks, go check out TPDRPG. It's very, very precious. Thank you.
And Gina's mom shared that.
Yeah, I was never met Darren. Has he actually murdered a room full of people?
He killed us all.
Great, love it. Cool. Yeah. Sounds like a great
With
guy.
kindness.
In a vest.
Yeah, Gina's mom. What were you about to say, Gina?
That my mom shared that thing and I'd completely forgotten about it, and I was like,
me too.
My mom's the best meme sharer ever. It's bizarre. She's way better at internet than me, but
she is pretty damn good, and she is like a living scrapbook. She will throw the best memories at you, and you'll be like, oh my god. Like when she posted that image of Darren as Velig dropping that potato joke, like I was like,
yes.
Oh, shit, I remember that so vividly now that I've seen it.
Yeah.
It was so good. So good.
Yes, for those that don't, if you want a quick spoiler of what TBD was like, and should definitely go watch based on this joke, Darren DePaul made a joke about how he looked like a sack of potatoes, which must mean he's good in the sack. And it was just...
It's funny because if you go down the row, starting from left to right, and looking at everyone's reactions, and when you get to Mercer, who's sitting right next to Darren, Mercer's just dead. He's just like dead on arrival. It's like splayed out on the table. It's so funny. And it's just like this like steady decline of people laughing until they were just destroyed at the very end. It was pretty good. The community has come together and gotten some questions together for you guys. And I'm going to be your moderator today. And by the way, I am looking at chat, so I'm seeing all the great funny messages y'all are posting right now in Twitch chat. So I am keeping tabs on that. And our elder mods are going to be curating questions from chat too. So don't forget to do capitalization to your question so that they can spot it. Eric is taking our jobs. Okay, so I won't be. I'll let the mods. Chandra's calling me out for taking her job.
I sympathize as host.
All right, so let me go ahead and start with some of the questions off the top. First of all, before we begin, it's fun. It's very rare. Actually, I don't think we've ever, as a group of gamers, even like some of us are new to the group, like Rave and technically Xander, only technically, but like as a group, we've never done any kind of group panel or forum or anything where we've gotten a chance to, as a group, talk to all of you as our gaming group. It's always been, we were like one or two of us were on a panel with Geek and Sundry, or something like doing Q&A and stuff like that. So this is actually our first time that we as a group have actually managed to engage all of you all at once.
FridayCon.
What is it?
FridayCon, remember?
FridayCon, yes, as Shield of Tomorrow FridayCon, but never like as a generalized sort of panel. Do you know what I'm saying?
So no, not like this. Not like this.
Right, exactly. Which, by the way, FridayCon is one of my favorite things we've ever done. And so this is a good opportunity to sort of like turn this into a panel. So if you guys have any questions for us, definitely post those up in chat. And I'm certainly going to want to talk a little bit tonight about like the history of our group and how we've come together and how things are going. But let's go ahead and kick things off with some of these questions. I'll go ahead and start now. At the top of the list, the elder mods were particularly cruel, and instead of kicking things off with questions, they kicked things off with well wishes. So the first one is from Darth Pillow, who says, didn't really have a question, just wanted to say thank you for creating wonderful stories and a safe community, Clear Skies. Thank you, Darth Pillow. And thank you again, too, by the way, for your scene submission. That was a lot of fun to do on Clear Skies. McCrell got to deliver a baby. That was a nice little inspirational moment. Let me close that down.
Yeah, I did. That was amazing. That's what I said a few seconds ago. Muted, and I was muted, just talking to myself.
Yeah,
I'm gonna mute myself now again.
Logan says, I don't have a question. I just wanted to tell you all that you're all amazing, and I'm sad that I can't watch it fully. We're sad you couldn't watch fully either, Logan, but we're super happy that you are a part of the community, and thank you for submitting that well wish. Thank you very much. Wishing best for you, too. So, Sir Beast, first thing, this is for the whole crew. So we will start, I'll kick things off. Sir Beast 1269 says, whole crew, what are some of the things you want to do in game that you haven't done yet or want to see happen? There are so much because we're just at the top of the game. There's a lot. Okay, so I can start as a GM. As GM, I definitely want to see. I would like to see Olin and Lacat finally have tea. I'd like to see that happen eventually because they've been talking about it for a while. I think I'm really looking forward to seeing some more engagement between Olin and the command staff, because Olin is going to be playing a major role with the command staff. That's kind of like their supplement to the command staff. And I don't know if, I don't mean to speak for you, Aki, but it's just somebody who's like sitting at the table watching. I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a lot of fun watching to see where that happens, especially as we near into like the first contact stuff. And y'all are going to hate me for this, but one thing I'm really looking forward to is I really want to see combat in this campaign. I want to see a lot more combat.
Ooh, monster. Yeah, you do.
But as GM, I'm not railroading anybody into combat because because we're the stream punks and you guys do an excellent job of making best friends with all the bad guys. And that's just going to be something I have to accept as a GM. I just have to accept it.
I can snap pencils while muted. I hadn't even thought.
Yes, and on that note, finally, I'm really looking forward to the Borg Queen Azari romance that we're setting up. That's going to be so hot.
Wait, this captain doesn't get to make out with the Mark. For those of you who don't know, the Mirror Universe is a wild place in Shield of Tomorrow.
Yes, it is. Sam, why don't you start? Why don't you go next? And then you can hand it off to whoever you want to answer the question next, and so on.
All right, Captain's prerogative, I suppose. I'm looking forward to piecing together some of the big picture hints. I like the expansive world that we're building within the world of Trek. That I like the notion that we visit a place and that place persists and keeps doing things, and we'll call them up and we'll visit and we'll send flowers. I should really send Dejong something. It's fine. I'll make a note. But I'm looking forward to the opportunity to call upon those pieces and keep bringing them together, because it is a very big galaxy, but it is a very connected one. I look forward to seeing just how much.
Good answer.
Commander?
Well, obviously, I'm looking forward to a holodeck episode, and also more Q, and also I don't know. I just love Q. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sam. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Captain.
I forgive you everything.
That is just my personal joy. Let's see. What else am I looking forward to? There's so much. The best part is that being in Shackleton Expanse is just the best thing, because we get to have as much weird and fun and amazing and interesting creativity as we want, and make up whatever cool thing we want to encounter each time, and it's pretty great. And I want more space whales. I want more planes. What does Axio want? Let's see. I want a holodeck. Oh, I can't wait till we all have goatees.
Oh God, I'm having flashback of one of the most classic moments in all of Shield of Tomorrow, which is when you and Xander made eye contact during the goatee. And I remember watching that happen in real time. Just like, I glanced over at the two of you and saw that happen, and the moment it happened, I was like, that's gonna get gift into oblivion. It's so great. So good.
Very, very. Ambassador?
Me. Okay. I think that one of the interesting things as far as what I'd like to see is obviously just for Olin, I really want to see how they gel with the rest of the crew, because they're in a very unique position where they're not Starfleet, and therefore there is a little bit of a disconnect there. And like, how do they fit into this puzzle, and when and where do they make their connections, and with whom? And I guess I'm just sort of looking forward to seeing who Olin is when they're not the buttoned up ambassador who has to like do the diplomacy and stuff like that, which is why I actually want to echo what Eric said about seeing how they fit into, like, because I haven't actually gotten to do any scenes with the command team yet. It's not since the first episode, so I'm looking forward to doing that soon. Yeah. I'll pass it off to our chief medical officer.
What about our date?
We had a date, but it was so brief. We didn't get to talk.
I know.
We didn't actually get to talk.
I know.
Yes, that would be me. Hello, Dr. McCrell here. What I'm looking forward to, I feel, especially since we all have such a diverse crew, and like
aliens.
Yeah, just everyone's so different and comes from such different backgrounds. I can't wait till we discover each character's different backstory and how it interacts and gels with each other. I feel like there's like all of us have just scratched, get it, the surface of all of our characters, and I feel like as we continue to go further into the Shackleton Expanse, we're all going to get to know each other even more deeper. And I look forward to having scenes with people. There's still a few people on the crew that I haven't had scenes with that I really want to, or just, yeah, I can't wait to really, one of the things I love about just not role-playing games, but Star Trek in general, is that we get to role play so much. It's not just all about, going to fight the bad guys. It's about really like RPing and getting into character. And I feel like we've just scratched the surface of it, and I can't wait to keep going.
Yeah, and I think echoing that too, I'm really excited. One of the things that I love about Star Trek is similar. It's that these weird combinations of characters that you get, that you can tell it was a writer's room that was like, let's throw darts at these characters. I don't know, it's Geordi and Janeway and Q for some reason. I don't know, but that's what I love, and like finding the justification of like, why is this random ensign here or whatever, and finding connections that you wouldn't normally associate. So I'm excited to find those either with NPCs or with each other, and that's always the most exciting part for me. Yeah, and then Jane, if you could please enlighten us.
Combat? I'm really excited for combat.
Yeah, thank you, Jane. Of course, the Cardassian is murderous and is like, oh yeah, no, if we're gonna kill shit, like I can get scientific on that. Yeah.
Look, I'm excited for combat too, but
but also, I don't know. I feel like obviously there's things that I want to explore with Jane, but I'm really excited because I feel like I know nothing about. What I know about everyone else's characters exactly what the audience knows. So like I want to dive into everyone's backstory and like figure out their secrets. And I wish these games would go 6 hours long so I could be like, Xander, sit down here and tell me everything about your character because I want to know. And it's not gonna happen. It's gonna be like stretched out in like delicious story form content. But like I want to know about everyone's characters as much as y'all do. So that and combat. I want to take down 2 soldiers.
I have to say, one of the best experiences of running this game so far has been watching a brand new Trekkie fall in love with Trek. Because we all get to experience falling in love with Trek all over again through you, Ravity, and as a result, like every time I get a text message from you at like 11:45 p.m. bitching about Gul Dukat, like who the fuck is this guy? Like just the way you go, like it's so. Every time I get these like texts where you're just going off on like, it's so.
Gul Dukat either go like, who the fuck does he think he is, or like I kind of get him.
Oh man. It's true. It's so good. It's a lot of fun. It's been so infectious to watch you to fall in love with Star Trek all over again through your experience of falling in love with Star Trek. It's really infectious, and it's been a total delight. So
it's been a total delight for me too. Thank you for all being so welcoming. And just the second I'm like, hey, I don't get this. Everyone is so, just so warm and like giving and just like, here, let me show you. And it's been a pleasure.
Here's a question from Geek Outs. What part of the Ross are you wanting to have a scene in that you haven't had yet? I'm going to start this question off by giving. I'm gonna toss this to Aki. What's a scene that where in the USS Ross do you want to have a scene that you haven't had yet?
This is going to sound incredibly forward, but I'd love to have a scene in the captain's quarters.
You started that sentence, and I was really hoping that it would end there, and then it did. All the way through. 5 out of 5.
All right. How about you, Sam? Since we're on you right now, where would you like to have a scene?
I mean, I've been in my quarters more than once, and frankly, I can't personally, qua Sam, fathom the notion of having an answer that isn't Cetacean Ops. Like, I can't. I acknowledge that maybe some Paul is not like me in that particular respect, but no, I'm just going to not say Cetacean Ops to leave room for everyone who hasn't yet been there. But I would like to visit on the Ross. I'd be curious to see a little bit more of tactical officers who aren't the chief tactical officers. And so, like, some of the more tactical and security office oriented parts of the ship, I don't think it's a thing that we see very often. I think we see scientists and labs in a lot of Trek because it's pertinent to a lot of Trek. But having played the token security trill on the Ship Full of Nerds in the past, a role, of course, now taken on by our illustrious Game Master, I'm curious what not the chief of those things is like and how those people feel and think.
Very cool. Okay. How about you, Gina? And you can't answer the inside of a warp core because you've done that already.
I know, that's the problem.
Get out of there.
I already did, so like right away I was like, I want to go in a warp core and I want to go on the outside of a ship.
Yep.
And I did both really quickly. See, this is the lesson, kids. Chase your dreams and make them happen very fast.
Hey, you know what though? I need to tell you this, and this is pertinent to bring up in front of the audience. Just as a real quick side note, because we had gotten this question before from the audience, and you had asked me this too. What would happen if XEO ever got shot by a disruptor or something like that? Well, I just watched an episode recently of Voyager where the Doctor was shot, and he was fine. He basically materialized and then immediately rematerialized because the program, his hollow emitter was still functioning. So he was out. He was out for like a round, but then he rematerialized. So XEO can take a full-on blast from a weapon. And so long as her emitter is okay, she is okay. So,
oh boy, guess he's going to be throwing themselves in front of combat a lot more now.
Yeah.
Game design.
Don't tell the captain.
Am I the only, look, clearly I have shown no reluctance to get into the mix. So all of this, I hate combat stuff, I feel like I have proven that I'm down, but am I the only one who has any concern for y'all's lives?
Hey, it's a small target. It's a small target. Don't worry. It's a small target. Well, they have to be so good to hit that. And
I'd have to drop some major
because
threat.
That's a completely different day of the week.
I am extremely concerned for my own welfare. Are you kidding? I am the most squishy.
Aren't you the only one in the party who didn't take cautious? No.
So where do you think, Gina? What part of the ship? Can you think of a part of the ship that you'd want to have a scene in?
I mean, obviously Cetacean Ops, because I just want to be in the middle of the tank and it not be a problem. Let's see, where would I want to go? I love the promenade. I got to do that. I don't know.
Can I offer a suggestion? Because I know. I think Arboretum would probably be a place that XEO would want to check out, because the Arboretum on the Bros is pretty extensive.
Yeah.
So maybe that would be a good place. Maybe.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
It's just interesting because my brain is just like, I don't know, where do things not allowed to go?
Yeah, exactly. Where am I not supposed to be? And that's where I want to go.
That's where I want to go.
We have a warp core. You've only been in one. There's two.
You're right. I need to even it out. I need to be able to say 2 warp cores.
We need to find XEO's Aladdin.
Yeah. By the way, quick context. Galaxy-class starships have 10 power. And Galaxy-class starships are the most powerful ships next to Sovereign-class in the Starfleet. And you guys have 15 power. 2 warp cores! All right, let me throw this question over to Rave.
Hi!
Hi.
Where do I want to go? Arboretum is definitely up there for me on my, or at least on Jane's list for sure. But I feel like she's got some pretty cool sectors of the ship already under her purview, just being science officer. So I think my answer is gonna have to be she wants to go slip and slide through the Jeffries tubes because I haven't done those yet, and like I feel like she would find a way to gamify that, and if she hasn't already. And so yeah, that's where I'm excited to explore. Also holodeck, like me, as like a new Trekkie who has not had a chance to like play in that yet, like absolutely. So yeah, I look forward to our like corporate bonding day where we go all hang out.
Corporate bonding day. How about you? How about you, Bonnie and Xander?
I mean, I think obviously both of us would want a holodeck episode. Well, it's so fun. I particularly want to do a holodeck scene in one of Dr. McCrell's programs for reasons, but I won't say why because they're pretty awesome. I've thought about this deeply. Also, Dr. McCrell has an herb garden connected to the med bay, so that'd be cool to kind of see that, to see what kind of different plants
nips.
And herbs. And how dare you?
What sort of nips you got?
You said it. I did it.
Well, if it's catnip or
nothing is nipping. There's no nips.
No nips.
Doggo.
I was gonna say medbay because I don't think Tech has really had any scenes in sickbay yet, and so.
Well, it's time that you get injured.
Well, no, I don't want that part.
Eric, I think that's what he's trying to say.
No.
Is that you need to hurt him.
No,
take him.
Combat.
I don't think that's what I said at all.
Yeah. Who's the squishy one now?
DM notes.
No.
Injure Tech. Okay.
I think you should get some credit from that.
No.
All right. So I'm going to throw this question out to everybody. And if you can answer this in just 3 sentences. If you had, get ready, this is a big question. This is from Clankzilla. If you had Q powers, what would you do with said power? Go. I'm going to start with you, Bonnie Xander.
Harry Potter's real.
Just Harry Potter, or like the whole world?
No, just singular. Harry Potter is real. Just the one wizard boy. No.
I'd be like, oh man, there's so much good you could do. Oh hi, hi Joey.
Totally having a BBC reporter moment right now.
Yeah. Only you can see that. I don't think that you can see that on screen.
I tried so hard.
He tried so hard to.
He was completely visible. Like that was the worst ninja. That was the worst ninja.
He brought me beer and dog.
We all saw him, but I don't think the chat did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Harry Potter's real now. Q, you have Q powers.
Oh yeah, I would.
We're gonna try to bounce this through the cast pretty quickly. So 3 sentences.
I would same kind of the thing. I would like make magic real and make like you could. There's so much good you could do at the world. Like I could be the most powerful. That's 2 sentences. I could be the most powerful. Make a wish.
And mute.
And mute. Okay. So how about you? What's that, Bonnie?
Think of all the make-a-wishes I could come true, and then like also fix things. Okay, now I'm gonna mute myself.
We love you, Bonnie. How about you, Rave? If you had the powers of the Q.
I feel like I want to be Nightcrawler. That is the only thing that's coming to mind right now. That's the answer.
No.
And also world peace, maybe. I don't know.
I love you, Rave. And Bonnie's like, I would think of all the wishes I could make come true. And Rave, you're like, I want to be Nightcrawler.
That's a wish I could make come true, and then we could. Yeah, this is happening.
No, seriously though, Kurt Wagner for the win. Kurt Wagner is the man. I love Kurt. He's one of my all-time favorites. Has been since I was a kid. So I fully support this. How about you, Aki?
Everybody I know would have everything they ever needed forever and ever and ever. And
all right. That's pretty
No
solid.
good people.
Yeah. How about you, Sam?
It's a deeply unsexy answer, but the only one I think I can truly give is to give those powers right back. Omnipotence is inherently corrupting, and no matter how well we start out, it will ultimately destroy the moral fiber of a person. I want to be me. I can't be Q.
But if you give it to me, Harry Potter's real, though.
Yeah, or me.
It's not what you do first. It's what you do like 170 billionth that concerns me, Xander.
Did we ask Gina? Gina, you haven't told us.
That's for last, yeah?
I mean, I'm pretty on board for making all magic real, but I think my first thing would probably make a unicorn for my sister's birthday in a few days.
That's pretty rad. I was torn. My answer is I'm torn. I'm torn between either making Animal Crossing come out right now, or making an exact duplicate of my mortal self and leaving it here to live out the rest of his life while I transcended into the cosmos and became a being that existed on a different plane. That way I did not.
Are you accepting creative criticism? Sorry, I'm not going to wait for an answer. One, Animal Crossing comes out on Friday. That's a big waste. And two, you would definitely sleep with yourself before like it transcended, right? Like for sure.
Possible, yes, it's possible.
Yeah. Okay, just checking. Thank you.
And I also just want to point out that Animal Crossing is coming out on Friday, and that today is in fact Monday. So no, it's not a huge waste. Okay, so we're gonna move on.
I have one more answer.
What? Oh, fire away, Gina. What you got?
Unicorn, and I would bring back the TV show Pushing Daisies.
Oh, could you bring Firefly back too? Just to be.
And Firefly.
And thank you, Gina. You are an omnipotent.
Whoops.
And bring back the original. Bring back the original Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. Just bring all that. Give it anyway. All right. I'm gonna call
my answer that pets have the same lifetime as humans. Get good. I'm trying. Pets. All right. Same lifetime as human. Come on, guys. All right. I'm back to my integration moral high horse.
So let's. I'm gonna give let's stick to the 3-sentence answer format because we still got a lot of questions to get through. So the next one's from Cat Waterflame. This is for everybody. Who would be your shoot for the moon, absolute 1 in a million, probably never going to happen, wouldn't it be amazing guest star? So I'll go ahead and start that off for Clear Skies. In all honesty, I'm not the type of person that gets super excited about celebrity. I really love meeting people who have done work that I really enjoy. It was really thrilling to have that funny ass moment with Robert Picardo in the elevator and Bonnie trying to get the signature and at Star Trek Las Vegas. Do you remember that, Bonnie? Yeah. It was really fun. Honestly, I don't have a personal shoot for the moon celebrity that I'd love to come play with us. The very possible, very reachable and attainable celebrity person that I would be the most excited to play with, in all honesty, is Mary Chieffo, because she is just a vibrant light in the universe and is a wonderful person and is genuinely enthusiastic and interested in coming to game at some point. So it would be fun if that could ever happen. I'm not holding my breath because she's a very busy lady, but that would be I think that would be my first pick, if not because let's face it, if we had Sir Patrick Stewart show up, we'd have to teach him how to play the game, and he wouldn't give a shit. He would just want to act. he would be like, what do I do with these dice? And then we'd have to we'd have to teach him. So it's not worth it. But
we would have to teach him.
Not worth it. Absolutely not. I tell him to get the hell out of the studio. Get out. Go make Picard. I don't want to see you again. No, that's not what I would say. The horrified.
No, you're out. I run the game, dude. Too late.
That's how you get Sam to become a GM. It's get Sir Patrick Stewart to come in.
And nothing else.
Nothing else. That's not a 3-sentence answer, so I apologize. I'm going to pass it off to you now, Sam.
Pretty much same boat.
Yeah.
Honestly. I really love the guests who we have access to. We are uniquely blessed with a lot of friends who professionally trek the stars, and therefore they have one of my main criteria, which is they have interesting things to say about Trek. I already like who we have, yo. They're going to be super great guests on Clear Skies because my best crew. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I'm going to amend what I said. If not Mary Chieffo, I will always, always ask and be excited to play with Mark Meer. Forever and ever and ever. Forever and ever. We miss our Koschy so much. We miss our boy. Mark Mir is so much fun to play with. How about you, Aki?
I live and die by the I want LeVar Burton. I want LeVar Burton. I will always want LeVar Burton. Actually, this is a recent amendment, but like I feel like Whoopi Goldberg would be a lot of fun to play with.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like she would just be lots of fun to play with because she might also be of the same ilk as Sue Patrick Stewart. Like, what do I do with these dice? But she would have a fun time and like make everybody laugh while she did it. So yeah, I mean, and it would just also be really cool to meet some of my childhood heroes and play games with them. So
yeah, on that note, I'm going to take back everything I said about Sir Patrick Stewart. Because you're right.
You're right.
Ooh, I see someone said Jeffrey Combs in chat. Aunt Zelda said Jeffrey Combs. That is an excellent pick, Aunt Zelda. Jeffrey Combs is one of my favorite Star Trek actors, period. He is phenomenal, and he's done a ton of characters. I would love, that would be a lot of fun. How about you, Gina?
So was the question specifically actors from Trek or just anything?
Anybody, like pie in the sky, like who would you love to have come game? Okay. You could say Chris Pratt, and it totally works.
Cool. Then I have two weird answers. This is an imaginary world where they play the games, and they all are nerds and know everything about it and get to come play. They're very weird answers. I'm sorry. I think it'd be really, really weird and fun to have John Mulaney on the show play like something strange.
Q, John Mulaney is Q.
Q, exactly. Something strange, like a Q or an Elorian or something where you're just like, who
or a
are
Ferengi.
You? Yeah, well, yeah, or like even as just, I don't know, a Vulcan. Like he could play a dope Vulcan.
Oh, he could play an awesome Vulcan.
And can you imagine him coming in with the eyebrows? And he would
look so good.
Yes,
he would be a rad Vulcan.
And judging based on the fact that I love the new Jumanji remakes, like just so much, they are so fun to me. I've had so much fun with them. I think they're really funny. I really love them personally. Obviously, Jack Black and The Rock would be hilarious as Klingon, like together.
Oh my God, Gina!
Together.
That is the most brilliant Klingon
like,
buddy cop movie
husbands,
ever cast.
Or like Klingon husbands or Klingon like buddy cops or like just the two of them interacting as Klingons would make me so happy. And those are my three answers.
That's pretty amazing. How about you, Rave?
John Mulaney was actually one of my answers, so I'm gonna go for my backup three now. It's probably Taika Waititi, Jordan Peele, and
yes.
probably just like a real weird like Childish Gambino, Donald Glover. Like I just see him to the table.
Jeez, Rave, you're good at this.
Yes.
Everyone's taking our answers.
How about you, Bonnie and Xander?
Got this for a while. Thank you.
We were muted.
It was just now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taika Waititi was totally my answer.
Yeah. Good. He would do something. He would do something strange. He would do something.
I just want to work with him in some
funny or really scary, or better yet, both.
Yes, exactly. Also, I was going to say Chris Pine. Thank you.
Just I was just thinking how funny it would be to watch the Flight of the Conchord boys play some Vulcans.
Oh, so good. Like Ferengi or something. Oh my God.
One of my top answers is Anthony Rapp, because not only is he a Trekkie and in Star Trek, he's a huge gamer and nerd, loves playing games, loves playing RPGs. And also, how cool would it be to have him guest for a musical episode? Because he's a freaking musical theater god.
We're going to need to really work on our sound over at QueueTimes and just like make sure that we have enough power to withstand the might of your voice and Anthony Rapp's voice.
Oh, you can't. You can't stop the beat.
No, nobody can. All right.
I don't know what happened.
Here's our next question, and again, we'll try to keep this to 3 words, because we are almost halfway through our questions, and it's been about an hour. So let's go ahead. This is just like This is just like a panel. So, returning crew. And Eric, some rules were ignored or weren't used in Shield of Tomorrow. Are those rules still being omitted, and why weren't they used? Actually, the only rule that we are skirting around this time is support crew for players. So players don't have two characters; they just have their main character. We're not doing support crew characters. We decided to do this for the same reason we decided to do this on Shield of Tomorrow, which was we just feel like it's confusing for the audience, and it might be a little difficult to onboard new viewers if they see multiple characters being played. It does solve a lot of problems that a Star Trek role-playing game is inherently going to have, which is, of course, people having scenes and acting on away missions that are outside of the purview of what's going on maybe on the ship and whatnot. Having support crew helps manage that. But we seem to be doing just fine. And that's largely because we have a great aux crew and we have a great database that we can pull from on that. But also, like, we're doing really good at tossing the ball back to each other. We get better all the time. And we just didn't need it. As a show, we didn't need it. So if this was a normal tabletop RPG experience that wasn't being live streamed, we might use it. But in this case, we just didn't need it. So we did away with that. But in all honesty, the rules this time around, we're using them all. We've been using all of the rules this time. We haven't been omitting anything on purpose. Shield of Tomorrow, we definitely dipped a lot of the rules because the game was still, when we started developing that show, the game was still in development. And when it came out, it was still new and fresh, and we were still learning as we went. So we adapted Star Trek Adventures to work for us for the live stream. For Clear Skies, we're pretty solid, and we feel pretty good about the rules, and we're practicing them all the time. We have session zeros all the time, and we're getting better at it. And Xander, by the way, is also a GM for Star Trek Adventures. So it's literally, there are two GMs at the table. And so whenever I have a problem, Xander's got props on hand, like handing out sheets before the game starts. Like, here are the extended task sheets, everybody. Like, we are solid. It's like having 3 Sam Bled in one game.
Anything is I always have to put everything on sheets and tables so that I have it at a reference. But
why do you think I sit next to him?
Yeah.
Crap. Xander's here. Great.
So are you guys pretty comfortable with that answer? Returning cast? Do you guys feel pretty good about that? Yeah. Yeah. We kind of got to. So I think that's a good one. Let's jump to our next one. The next one, this is from Mike, who asks, who is your favorite NPC and why? Ooh, this is a good one. Look, Rave is already having, like... so my favorite NPC, my favorite NPCs to play, it kind of shifts from session to session, and because the show is still new, I'm still learning who like is really speaking to me when the NPCs come up. So currently, my favorite NPC, believe it or not, is the Klingon ambassador. I have so much fun playing that character.
You like playing a Klingon?
Yeah, I know. But a big, robust Klingon that laughs at his own jokes and isn't what you expect. He's old enough where he's kind of over the bullshit. And I'm really looking forward to exploring that NPC with the group. Because there's a lot of dynamics to him that I get to explore now and create as we go. But like I said, it varies from game to game, and beyond that, I can't really say because I'm afraid of giving away anything of the other NPCs. So I can just speak to what we've seen so far. But let's go down the list. Why don't we start with you, Aki? Who's your favorite NPC?
I'll start with what is probably the obvious choice that Chad has probably picked up on by now, but Prawl is my favorite NPC so far. But if I were to pick somebody that might be slightly unexpected, I've actually really enjoyed the Romulan ambassador. Playing opposite of him is fun because playing opposite of any Romulan is fun because you never know exactly what they're thinking. Like, it's all dodgy. You can't trust a Romulan any further than you can throw them, and I have a fitness of 7, so I can't throw them very far. But yeah, I love the challenge. I love that playing across from a Romulan requires you to, like, be real quick on your feet. those are my answers. I like the Romulan ambassador and I like Prawl.
Right on. How about you, Sam?
Like Aki, I really enjoy the Romulan character, so mine, again, leaving space for people to love on Vren Prawl and who not from my beloved crew, I enjoy Wellix because, not that I've had so many scenes, but because thinking about that character has forced me to think the most about who Sol is in how they approach that character. They're the most, probably the single most challenging character we have had, so that makes them the most interesting.
Good answer. Xander, who is your favorite NPC and why is it Commander Rogan?
It's definitely Commander Rogan. And that started from session 0. It was just a weird choice that I had made, and then it kind of stuck, and I was just like, I like this choice of tech. But no, I've really come to like my little engineering crew. I like Dari and I like Singh because once I had decided that I wanted to be chief engineer, I was excited to find out who my crew was, like who is the data to my Geordie, or you know what I mean? Like Balana had a crew as well, so I was excited to find that out, and I've been really happy with it.
Can I just say, Eric, you are the best and the worst because you make NPCs that are so incredibly lovable, and I fall in love with all of your NPCs, and it makes me mad. So like Vren, Prawl, like they're all just so layered and incredible, and I want to get to know them more, and I want more scenes with them as Macrell. I feel like obviously our Romulan spy is the character that I've connected with the most, because having some one-on-one scenes with him, and also being the one who has transformed him into the Trill that he is now. But I have to admit that Klingon chief medical officer on the base, that was a fun scene. That was just like just constantly like, are we gonna fight? Are we gonna fight? Are we gonna kiss? Are we gonna do this? Are we fighting? What's happening? That was one of my favorite scenes I've gotten to do. So thank you.
Yay! Well, you're welcome. Thank you.
So all of them is my answer.
Right.
I don't let you.
So since we're talking, since Wellix has come up, how about you, Gina?
I was gonna, I'm piggybacking on Sam and Aki. Wellix is a very challenging character to scene with because there's so much sort of delicacy and how specific language has to be, and how it's really sort of RPing is with that character is very challenging, like Sam said, and so in a great way, because the whole time Gina is questioning everything I'm saying while having to make sure that Exio is incredibly confident that what I'm saying is correct and believes what she's saying. And so that's very interesting. But I love Vren. Obviously, I really love Vren, and not really just because he's sweet and silly and kind of breaks protocol so much, but specifically because I can't wait to see the very clear crack that is in Vren. Like whatever the other that Vren is, I'm really, really excited to see the multifacetedness that Vren has clearly got, because of course you're NPCing him, Eric, so of course there's so much more to all of these NPCs. But specifically there was just something about, there's always something about sort of naive cool guy energy that is always like, well, I can't wait to see why that's a lie. Or I can't, you know what I mean? I can't wait to see what that's hiding, or what that projection of hoping I'm that is covering. And that height that I love characters that have a heightened projection of themselves to cover what they're like afraid of, or what they're hoping no one sees the other half, or the other 7 halves, and Vren has that in hardcore, so I think that's pretty cool. And obviously Prawl is really great, but He's also incredibly freaking capable, so he's A-okay in my book.
Yeah, it was funny because a couple of nights ago when I was doing some research on Andorian like rituals and stuff like that, just learning a little bit more about their culture, I started thinking about how Vren kind of reminds me of the 10th Doctor. He's got this like goofy out exterior that's covering up shit. And you just put it beautifully. And that's kind of what it reminds me of. So I'm really curious what Rave is going to say now that we've been talking about Vren.
Well, okay, so obviously Vren and Prawl still like those two on my list. I'm very curious to know what Ren's button for his anger is, because I think it was in one of the first episodes we talked about his file saying that he had anger issues, and that hasn't come up yet, and Jane has been looking. Anyway,
the crack!
The crack! It's there!
Looking for
but no,
Vren's crack, I see. Okay.
That's my favorite NPC.
I had to say it, Sam, because
Did you, Eric?
I felt like somebody was gonna say it. I mean, like no one was taking the opportunity. I had to say it. Right on. Okay. All right. So next question for the group: is it possible that our chaos-causing goose pilot is actually a Section 31 agent?
You know what? Did we talk about this, Eric, at some point where I was literally like, I think Jane has transcended like actually being like, you can't be this much of an idiot. Something's going on here. So I think Jane believes he is a Section 31 agent. Thank you very much.
But then Jane is paranoid by nature, so like
suspicious by nature. That's actually true.
Yeah, suspicious by nature. Sorry. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know. Real quick before I move on to the next question, none of y'all suspect. Does anybody here in the crew actually think that Vren is maybe like working for intelligence or Section 31? Just because he's so harmless, everyone's immediately assuming. Okay, so it's just the Cardassian.
No, I don't. But obviously, Olin has a vested interest in getting to know Vren better, specifically because they screwed up with him so badly early on. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, that question was from Leo Ambermain. Sorry about that, Leo Ambermain. The next question is from Cat Waterflame again, and this reads. Excuse me. I have made bingo card for Clear Skies. Is there anything that you want to be sure is on that card when I next update it? I already have Azari yells what on there for Sam.
That was very kind, but I was just saying it as an offhand. I'm sure it won't pertain all of the time. Please feel free to curate, including curating out any of my contributions as you see fit, so that all of you might yell bingo in chat at just like ideally dramatically inappropriate times. Thank you.
I feel like another moment that like a surefire winner, like to get a mark on the bingo card, is predicting whenever you're going to hear McCrell say yes.
No.
No.
But yes, is I'm here with my tea.
It's been fun to see the bingo like after the fact, to see what people are picking up on as like, oh, these are recurring themes or things that the characters will do in the future.
One of them's like what McCrell or Lacat is creepy.
Yeah.
That one marks pretty much every episode. So way to go, Jane and Doc. But y'all should have. We've been muted, so you've missed all my snort laughs, and I apologize.
No. So this is our last. General Clear Skies questions. Hopefully not too meta. This is from Thesser. Hopefully not too meta. But if your characters were to play in a tabletop game, what kind of character would they want to play and why? Eric, I'd love to know what sort of character Solon or Vren would play. You're muted, Xander. Did you say something? Why don't you guys?
We both went Solon.
I forgot.
Because he's such a good NPC.
Yeah. Anyway, I think Tech would want to be like a paladin of some kind, someone who could be on the front lines and protect others, but still like be able to heal. I think he could get out a catharsis in playing a paladin.
Right on. How about you, Bonnie? What would McCrell play?
A barbarian.
How about you, Captain Sol?
At a different time in their life, I'm sure their answer would have been Mastermind Rogue.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I don't know why, but I had a feeling you were going to say that.
But I think these days they might prefer maybe a Beastmaster Ranger or a Druid.
Right on. How about you, Gina?
Exia would want a GM, and she'd make you all do it in the holodeck, and she would change her appearance with every NPC.
Oh, man. The ultimate LARP experience.
Oh, yes.
The ultimate LARP experience.
Exia would be so thrilled. She would research everything in exactly 0 seconds.
Yeah. How about you, Aki? What would Olin play?
I will actually leave this answer to Sam because they're about to read me for filth. I know it.
So you would think with a social that it would be a bard, that you just sort of gravitate toward bard. But obviously we already have a bard in our party. Hi, Solon. How are you? Bard. So the question is really, what domain cleric?
Yeah.
And there you have it, folks. I actually don't know what domain. That is something I'd have to do some research on. But yeah, most likely Olin would end up being the cleric. Like, empath, that kind of thing, I feel is very suitable for cleric. But also, yes, I just knew the moment you asked that question, it was like, Sam has the answer to this. I don't need to do it.
How about you, Rave?
So Sam very much knows that I usually have a tendency to stick to warlocks, but I feel like this is the first game where I'm actually also playing a rogue. And it's the first time I even considered rogue as a possibility out there for me. And yeah, it's just like a pretty clear-cut answer.
Yeah.
Scout rogue.
I would say Vren would. I would say Vren would definitely be the Scanlan Shorthall to the group. I think that's kind of a given. I don't know if he'd make as many dick jokes, but I feel like he. Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Or he would go the other way and be like the beefiest, hunkiest fighter out of anyone because he's not that in real life. You know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Solon, I feel, would want to play like. I feel like Solon would want to be something like a dragonborn. Like a dragonborn warlock or something, you know, something like a little unusual compared to what the typical party wants to play.
Tiefling. Solon's really gay. The answer's only tiefling.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good point. Solid point. All right.
Is Paul our gunslinger?
Gunslinger. Oh, yeah. Hey. Paul would be a gunslinger. Okay.
Or
so
archery fighter with sharpshooter.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Oh, that would be way more prevalent. Yeah. Yeah, he'd probably take crossbow mastery and take archery and do full on. Yeah, totally. And maybe maybe 1 or 2 levels of monk.
Could he let himself not be a paladin? Because if he saw other, like, he is a ranged combatant as in Star Trek, but like his thing is so geared toward protection that I can't see him like letting not Prawl charge into melee.
And he's
like that aura. Yeah.
He has totally got the mindset of like emo paladin boy for sure. We got another question here. This is a general RPG question from Mathblade. Gender inclusivity is very important. What are some of the things that companies and players can do to normalize inclusion like has been done here and in other previous shows? I want to include more diversity in my games, but I wonder what is too much or too little since my experience as a trans man may color my world. The only thing I could contribute to this conversation, speaking as a cis white dude, is when it comes to normalizing, the only thing that I constantly am on the lookout for, aside from educating myself when I'm going to run these games and asking lots of questions beforehand, and Sam can attest to that, and Eliza can attest to that. Like, if I ever have any questions, I immediately go to the source. Like, I'll start asking questions of people who I would need to ask. But also, I am very cognizant of tokenism and I want to avoid virtue signaling, like all of the shitty traps that people fall into when they're trying to normalize this kind of content. Like, I want to be aware of that shit and stay on top of that as well. And so I'm super mindful of that. I think that's the other side of the coin that a lot of people kind of slip into sometimes. But for the most part, I will say that our community as a whole, like tabletop streaming and whatnot, has been doing a good job where they are implementing that kind of inclusivity. That's my contribution to the answer. Anybody can jump in here if you guys want to jump in and answer that. If anybody has anything that they want to jump in. Otherwise, I think just in general, we all just kind of like, we just contribute in our own ways of just you know, the only way I can think of really finalizing the answer, and jump in if you guys would agree or disagree here, but I just feel like do more of it. We just need more of it.
Yeah, and I think I could piggyback off of that in that the thing that you're doing right now in asking this question is the right thing, is asking this question. Right. And as far as I'm concerned, what each of us can do is individual at the table. We can create the safe space where it's a normal practice to ask someone, what are your pronouns? What are your character's pronouns? Mm-hmm. To have the X card in place. You know, exploring things in the tabletop space is what it's for. It's for pushing the boundaries. Mm-hmm. We want everybody to be comfortable. That's why we set up these safety nets to create the safe space around it. Mm-hmm. But we want to, a lot of us, you know, you have darker feelings or you want to work something out, and this is the space to do that. And so I think the biggest takeaway might be to not wish for what you're seeing on stream, because at the end of the day, we're putting on a show and it's going to be different than what your table will look like at home. Mm-hmm. So comparing the two is a little bit difficult, but also what do you want to get out of this table and this game and these people that you're playing with? If you share a common goal, everything's going to align no matter what. Mm-hmm. So just making that structure in place sets you free. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
having a safe space where players can feel free to play anything and everything they want, makes them not feel, so conscious about having, and I love what you said too about, before any campaign or before any game, find out every player's pronouns and their character's pronouns, and then it just becomes, that just sets the norm for the rest of the gaming experience.
And the last thing I want to add to this before we move to the next question, Math Blade, is just let your experience as a trans man color the hell out of your world. You said, I want to include more diversity in my games, but I wonder what is too much or too little since my experience as a trans man may color your world. Perfect. Let it color your world. There's really no too much or too little. Just play into that and see where that goes and just communicate with your group. But absolutely let your experiences color the world. That's an important experience to bring to a tabletop RPG. Definitely. You're in a good position to do that. So, yeah. Logray asks, what other IP would you want to run for a game for X, for example, like The Matrix, The Last Airbender, Dresden Files? Those are all amazing. I'm actually not that familiar with Dresden Files, but I would run The Matrix RPG in a heartbeat. That would be so much fun. The Last Airbender is something we've all fantasized about. There are 5 fan build RPGs out there right now. One of them is on Drive Thru RPG. The one I was just talking about today that I would personally love to run is Mass Effect. Any damn day of the week, I would love to run Mass Effect. You guys don't know this. I actually said this today. I finally confessed to everybody, and this is going to be shocking to some, but after Star Trek, my favorite space fantasy sci-fi thing is not Star Wars, it's Mass Effect. Star Wars is 3 for me, Mass Effect is 2. So that's just because it has had such an impact on me. And I love that world so much. So that's just me. Do you guys, does anybody here have something that they want to jump in and confess to, or?
I have 3.
Oh,
1,
fire.
Harry Potter. 2, Gangs of New York. 3, The Bachelor / The Bachelorette.
This needs to happen. All 3 of those need to happen.
The 10 Candles Bachelorette game has to happen.
It's going to happen, Gina.
Please.
Oh my God. Can you guys please do that on QueueTimes? Can we just? We'll talk to Jake. We'll talk to Jake, and we'll get Filthy Casual Fridays to do a special. And Rave, you'll run the 10 Candles Bachelorette. Oh my God, please!
I better get a rose, yo.
They will do anything for that rose.
Real quick, just so you know, I got a text message, and I want you all to know that Mayor Gassetti is relaxing parking enforcement as a response to COVID-19. Thank you, Mayor Gassetti. It's a very important day for Los Angeles right now. All right, sorry, continue. That was a very exciting piece of news to get on.
I would want the
Los Angelians. Park wherever you want.
Yeah.
Right.
What were you gonna say, Bonnie?
I said I would want The Magicians. I've binged that show. It's really good, and to be able to create a character that's just basically a person who lives in modern day here, but magic is real. So it's kind of like in that Harry Potter-esque feel, but even more so where you can like jump back and forth from our world to Fillory. If you haven't watched the show, you do it. They have musical episodes. It's fabulous. You can do a spell where everyone knows the words to a song, and then you all have to sing together. And I'd be doing those spells all the time.
Good.
I'm gonna turn myself off now.
Wait, no, I want to.
You made Rave very happy with that answer.
Yeah, I did. She's my girl.
How about you, Dina?
There has been a time when we were investigating such things. For the record, if you want to hack, I think the Genesis system will support the magic approach of the Magicians very nicely.
Cool. How about you, Gina?
I'm trying to think. Honestly, I literally tweeted this a couple of months ago, and I don't remember what I said because we immediately went, wait, but let's add that to Rave's 10 Candles game.
Mentor. Cute Dementor. Something like that.
That's what so I guess mine's a Harry Potter. I want to play a Dementor really badly. I want to play a teenage Dementor. Yeah, that was what I pitched. So I want to do an RPG. I guess I just want to play this character. I want to play in a Harry Potter RPG. Specifically, maybe attach it to the 10 Candles Bachelorette game, where I play a teenage Dementor who's really scared about their first kiss.
Oh my God!
That's all I want. It's this build-up. They're just looking forward to the first kiss. It's gonna be soul shattering.
I'm picturing her just sucking that.
Xander had to get up. You made Xander leave.
Wait, why?
Oh no.
I think what we should do is we should ask Jake if we can take over Filthy Casual Fridays and call it Rave's Bullshit RPG Corner, and it'll be Rave running whatever the fuck she wants to run, and if she wants to, like, are you on board for that?
In that case, you gotta do like a prom, like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and then like Gina's character is like, it's done.
I'm back in.
Jake just said yes. Jake just said yes. Make it so.
Does Xander nope out?
Yeah. What if you just like wiped the board clean and did like a bachelorette type show, but every character, it could be from any IP. So it's like you got Harry Potter, you got Star Trek, you got this, you could it could be anything. So you create a character no matter in whatever IP you want to do, and then it just becomes a show of chaos.
I would want to play the in the Bachelorette game. I would want to play the tiny nervous fish from Finding Nemo. The one that's just always like, that would be
such a deep cut.
Because I want to see that character in a fishbowl interacting with a Dementor that wants to be kissed.
How do you hold a rose with fins? I don't know.
That would be so cute. That would be safe too, because kiss the fishbowl.
Right. How about you, Aki?
I've been sitting here listening to everybody's answers, and I honestly don't have one. Like,
that's fair.
I would just be happy to play in any of y'all's worlds, and it would just make me really happy. Yeah.
That's totally fair. That's a valid answer. How about you, Sam?
I feel like I'm really lucky because I already kind of get to play in all the worlds I really want to play in. So.
That's a fair answer. Sam, is your answer basically the same, or do you have one picked?
Oh, I tend to focus on, hey, how would I implement all of these ideas right here? For instance, you would have a brilliant skill system for the Matrix. You can use it as a really primary mechanism of advancement because of how they do the downloads. It's completely different than traditional learned skill systems. Like the magicians, it has a very idiosyncratic magic system. You cannot use the same thing for that as you would for Harry Potter because they work very differently and there's different levels of specialization and expertise. It's not about which IP I find interesting qua IP. It is often about how those can be best translated through game design so that the game genuinely supports the unique things about that setting and about that IP.
I was going to say Exalted would be a great system for the Matrix as a baseline. But that's one I would have to work with you on, Sam. But like the charm system actually might be a little messy. You'd probably have to generalize a little bit. But I was thinking it might be interesting to take like the Doctor Who system and use that as a baseline for the Matrix and use story points to execute crazy ass shit. But I don't know.
Give us the license, darling, and then we'll worry.
Yeah, okay.
Lost. That's my answer. I'm done.
Vast.
Lost?
Did you say vast?
Oh, vast. Lost.
Oh, lost. I hear vast every time someone says an ST.
Fair.
Okay, so we got a question. Oh, here's a question for Bonnie. This is from Omiad Octavo. And they ask, Bonnie Gordon, would you ever GM a game? How much chaos would be involved?
Oh man, so much chaos.
You would do it.
I would do it.
All it takes is someone asking you to do it.
Yeah, I've never GM'd a game. I'm slightly terrified of GMing, but at the same time, I know that if I prepped enough and like figured out what I wanted to do, I love telling stories and I love playing. I love like coming up with surprise. You know, just like in the backstories of my characters, I love coming up with like surprises and little like things that you wouldn't expect. So I would love to like do that within a story with other people. So I would definitely GM a game. I've never done it before, so the thought of it terrifies me. So who knows? Maybe I'll never do it. But
in the words of Spock, for everything there is a first time.
Yeah, screw you, Eric. Thanks for. I'm just kidding. I've thought about it. I have, and you know, maybe it's something in the future that we can do for like a charity stream or something. Basically, a stream that has no stakes, but like for fun, like a one shot. I'd be like, here, everybody.
Run a Tempting Fate Firefly game.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be rad. That would be rad.
That would be fun.
That would be so rad. Oh, here's a big question. This is from actually the next three questions are for me. We're gonna break these down in order here. The Thunder Cabbage asks, when will we find out who the cast of the Klingon ship will be? Follow-up question, why did you choose such awesome people? You're going to find out the cast of the Klingon game next Monday night. The next episode, which we will be doing an episode of Clear Skies, will also be remote because we are in our habitation pods right now. And I'll get to that. Don't let me forget the habitation pods thing. So we're next Monday night. I'm going to do big cast reveals of our cast for the Klingon game. We're in the process of scheduling our session 0, which was originally obviously going to be a meetup and is now going to be a remote session 0. So we're in the process of doing that. But I finally got confirmation from everybody tonight. We are greenlit. We are good to go. I've got the cast locked into place. And we're going to do that big reveal. So definitely stay tuned for next Monday night, because that's when we're going to be dropping the bombs. Orangitis asks, Eric, have you considered providing instructions for us STO players on how to recreate members of Clear Sky's original alien races within Star Trek's online alien creator? No, but Orangitis, that is a good idea. And I think that should be one of the live streams. I think the next time we do a character creation, we should schedule a day where, and anybody can join in who wants to join in on Star Trek Online. Xander, we could probably do this, but we could probably just jump into the character creator and just make some. That'd be fun, right? We should do that. Yeah. I would love. Yeah. Oh man, I would love to make Vren in Star Trek Online. That would be so much fun. I'd love to make Vren. I specifically gave Vryn chops because I like how Andorians look with chops on Star Trek Online. So there you go. Low Gray asks, any chance of using minis for starship combat? I know that it may require another camera shot. I don't know that we would use minis for starship combat, but I have considered using miniatures for ground combat, should that ever break out, because Star Trek Adventures actually accommodates mini use for ground combat, and Jake has told us that QueueTimes can set up to accommodate us if we wanted to do that, and we have a table space for it. I should go ahead and note that there are red alert rules that I have not read yet, because we just haven't used the miniatures combat system, but that Star Trek Adventures is designed for tactical combat. Because of the nature of our RPG group, though, I wouldn't want to get too tactical. I'd want to keep things very narrative driven and very open, so that there's no pressure on the players to feel like they have to crunch the hell out of the rules and learn like tactical dynamics to get shit done. Do you know what I mean? That's something that I think a lot of D&D players feel a lot of pressure on, and when it feels like maybe their whole party's life can depend on them. It's better if people just know what their characters can do, and I would probably use it. I've said this too with BattleTech, because if I ran the BattleTech RPG, I would definitely use miniatures, but it would be very arbitrary and just give an idea of where ranges and where people are on the battlefield. I'd probably do something similar to that. So if we would ever do that, but as far as starship combat, because it's three-dimensional, I don't think we would need it unless we were trying to show like approximations of where things are, and we already have range categories, and that kind of covers it. So. Next question. This is for the cast. So this is from Corey Cora Exion, I believe is how you pronounce the name. How much research did you do for your characters and their quirks? For example, did Bonnie know that catnip tea has been recorded as being used as a medical remedy since the 1700s in herbal medicine? Bonnie, did you
know that?
First off, Mackrell does not drink catnip tea. Maybe... Who knows what herbs are in there? There's actually a very rare herb in her tea that maybe y'all will discover soon. Who knows?
You're
Sorry,
tormenting our cat.
Look, Yappa likes catnip tea. This is Yappa.
So this is what prompted it, is Gina's dog.
I was like, I need my cat now. But I did a lot of research. Oh God. And I'm very excited to release some of this. Sorry, everything's crashing down.
Our cat is not graceful.
The cat is overweight and knocked over a lot of things. But I'm very excited to reveal some of that, but I can't. So there.
Fair. Okay. Did any of you guys, do you want to jump in here? Is there any research you did into the background of your character that you found really fascinating, that really helped inform who they were what they're doing now? Things that you kind of slid in, like little maybe Easter eggs that you put into your character?
I think that for Olin specifically, there's not a lot of information on Deltans because they've only really shown up once and in one movie. So everything that I've gotten for Olin has been very piecemeal and sort of just like, oh yeah, they can do this. Oh, and they can do this too. But there is a shit ton about Olin that has not been revealed yet that people don't know about them.
Right.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I had fun sort of looking up Bolian things, because even though they've been a major race for a while in Star Trek, there's still not a lot of stuff on Bolians, and there's no like Bolian main character. So it was fun to sort of see what was out there, and basically what I had found was the defining characteristics is they're blue, like their poop is acidic, and they have this lining on their tongue. So I was like, what if I took that part away? What would that do to like a Bolian experience? And so that's what I did with tech.
Right on. Does anybody else want to jump on this, or should we move to the next question?
It's been really interesting figuring out about Cardassians, because I think that, I mean, it was literally like, Eric called me, do you want to be on this Star Trek game? Me being like, I know nothing about Star Trek. And then immediately like digging into like the Wikipedia articles of like Cardassians and just like learning watching all the YouTube, I guess, talks people have done about Cardassians, and then realizing that whoever built out the Cardassian structure, you can definitely tell it was done by like 6 different people as opposed to one person being like, here is their entire culture. So there's been a lot of like connecting the dots, and even just like in naming culture, for example, in Cardassia, it's like you got 2 names, but like none of them match like the parental figures, but then at the same time family is so important to Cardassian, so it's just like, right. Okay guys, doing here? And so it's been fun filling in the blanks and like building out what I think is like just like my own headcanons to like influence choices. And yeah, it's been a blast, but a lot, but like very hyper specific to my character. Like if you ask me about any other race, I'd be like, I don't know.
I had one.
Yeah.
It's not so much like the research for specifically, but I just sort of enjoyed the very, very, very long discussions with you, Eric, and Sam, of just sitting on the couch with the three of us discussing what is life. What constitutes soul, all of the heaviest possible things that we could think of, because there are so many hologram programs and beings, that it was like, okay, well, we kind of have to start figuring out the definition of existence and life and what that means in the world of Star Trek, and what that means in context of every other being that we encounter that has the similar tech or same tech as me, or computers or anything, such as the ship. I remember there was a very long conversation about whether the ship counted as similar to me, and things like that. So that was really fun, and also informative, and also we do not have a clear answer, because obviously that is the question of everyone ever. What is life, and what is soul, and what is all of that, all the great questions of being alive, and I think it's very okay that we do not have an answer.
Yeah.
And now basically the rest of the show is Exio and I guess everyone else sort of figuring it out.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Believing it, and believing soul, and believing life, and believing all of that.
Yeah. I got a bunch of questions. Sam, did you want to chime in, or are you good?
Yes, I would love to. Especially because I did do a lot of research, not necessarily around my character specifically, because I like to keep that fluid and responsive to whatever the narrative is, give some architecture so that Eric knows where the knife should go in broad strokes, but like to be able to adapt to the particulars of which rib, shall we say. Having said that, we worked very extensively to try to come up with some sort of a coherent picture of Orions and Orion Society. Because many of you might know, Orion Alpha canon, that which is seen in movies and show, well, in Orion's case, I believe exclusively in show, and then in 2009 Star Trek, what we got in Alpha canon is they're criminals and just like really sexy, horny, and that's not the most satisfying canon. I can live without a horn dog canon, or a more cohesive picture. And so I am eternally indebted to the pioneering work by Orion scholar Gina DeVivo. Gina played an Orion in a Star Trek RPG long before I even knew her. And so she had already gone through a lot of the sources that I later found, not just sort of the memory beta canon stuff, but also old FASA modules. So I read the Orion Book of Common Knowledge and the Orion Book of Deep Knowledge, and the Orion Book of Common Knowledge in particular influences some of the more expansive conversations that we've had about what pheromones are, as well as why it seems like Orion culture is so incoherent, and to what extent that was intentional. It is perfectly fine from a Doyleist perspective to say, oh, the writers were horny, but from a Watsonian perspective, from within the fiction, we have to assume that those things are true, and we create story around them. And so a lot of the research that I did and a lot of the conversations that I had with Eric were about coming up with a cohesive picture that brought in things that made sense from Star Trek Online, things that made sense from sources like that FAST module, updating that module so it was coherent with that one episode of Enterprise that happened. And just trying to make something that made sense and was cool. Those both had to be there, so it took a lot of work, but I wouldn't have gotten nearly as far, and it wouldn't have been nearly as creative and amazing if I didn't have Gina to draw on. Really, really the hero here.
I love you. Thank you for drawing me.
Always.
So we've got about a little, just shy of 15 minutes left and a ton of questions. So I'm going to see if we can blast through these. So
Rapid fire.
Let's do some rapid fire stuff. So the next one, this one is for Gina. Did you take any Did you take any inspiration from the Doctor on Star Trek Voyager when creating Exio? Did the two ever meet as part of Exio's backstory?
Oh, they have not met yet. Not in person. Yes. Also, lots of places. I definitely really didn't want to be just an impersonation of the Doctor as the only character that I looked at. I tried to watch as many things and a lot of sources of sort of AI or even Android, or like we had discussions about Mass Effect, and we had discussions about Wall-E. Like there are so many sort of there's so many great, amazing beings that are created and live and are alive. So I wanted to pull from sort of a lot of obscure sources to sort of create her knowledgeable naivety without it being a Born Sexy Yesterday thing. I wanted her to have agency and knowledge and understanding, but obviously there are definitely things she has not experienced in person, and I didn't want that to be I wanted her to have wide eye without creepy innocence. I don't know. Like without it being a thing that was like, I don't know what anything is. It's like, no, it's awesome. What is this cool thing?
It's very similar, like Janet from The Good Place, where she's all knowing but yet has not experienced anything personally. That's what Exio kind of reminds me of, that all knowing.
I would say more Michael, that's like excited about everything.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
I like those. I like those.
You're like a demon.
That's fun. I'm a demon.
That was from Mikey7059. So thank you for that question. Our next question is from Librarian Liz, and this is for Aki. The ambassador's service animal Patience is wonderful and has been shown to be a help with many characters. What was your motivation to include a service animal?
Well, first off, I think it was just general. I thought it would be a good idea for there to be pets on this ship, and fortunately for me, I had a buddy who felt the same way. We should have pets, and I was trying to figure out what kind of animal Olin would have. And then as Patience developed, I was just like, Olin would have definitely adopted a dog that had been trained for service. And as a diplomat, having an animal, I think, to kind of offset the more tense situations, like who better does that than a dog? I mean, dogs are great. And I love Patience, and I'm still figuring out how she's going to be used throughout the show, but for right now, I just love having her. I just love having her. So,
right on. Another question here then. This one's from FDay fan. As someone with less history with Star Trek, a show with a large amount of lore, how has it been? This is for Ravity, by the way. How has it been coming into the community through Clear Skies? Now that you are on Clear Skies and more familiar with the source material, what is your favorite part of Star Trek universe?
My favorite part of the Star Trek universe is definitely the this like unending optimism that we can be better than we currently are. I think that's specifically one of the reasons I chose Jane as a character as well. But I think that it's very easy to, when you are like faced with a problem, to just like shoot them out of the sky. And it's refreshing to be in a universe where they're like, how about we don't do that? how about we try to be better people and try to like actually find a different way around this. Right. And so it's exciting to be in a universe that mainly tells those kinds of stories. And so it's been really exciting exploring that. And just like I said, everyone's been so fucking welcoming.
Right on. Here's one from Zenith99. This is also for Ravity. What is your favorite part of the League of Whimsy Discord?
Oh my god. Is it bad to say? Okay, it's either like the heavy channels, because like people get deep in there. And it's great to see, like I cut my teeth on like Discord RP. Like I used to run Discord RPs, like that was my thing. And then now I'm here, which is nice. So I love that back and forth. I love just like lurking and watching, but also like the crew logs, man. I feel like those are letters that you are writing, and you're like not writing them to me, but like I feel like I just like curl up in my bed and like I read those. And then, you know, just like, man, you guys are full of drama, and I love it. I really do.
That's awesome. Right on. We got, let's see, we got another question here for, this one's for Xander. What happened between Tech and Commander Rogan in Session 0?
That's really interesting because I don't exactly remember what it was, but I do. I know it was a choice that I had made, and I remember the feeling behind it because I remember we had just gotten done for me specifically, I just filmed a few RPG shows kind of back to back, and sitting down and playing this, I felt this sort of electric energy of like getting in trouble, and like I felt that, I don't know, something about Tech being a little salty or a little vinegary was really fun for me, and Rogan was the one that I sort of tried that out on.
Yeah. A little acidic?
Acidic, exactly, yeah.
I remember it so perfectly. I remember exactly like watching it and why it went down, having played a bunch of scenes with Rogan and like knowing Tech. I remember it was this moment where Tech had said something generalizing a little bit about one of the, I think, half Klingon crewmates.
Yes, that's right.
So Rogan sort of, I think knowing who Sol was, started getting on Tech's case a little bit about that, because Sol would have come down like fire on that sort of thing, and he at that time was trying to impress them or whatever it was. Do a good job. He's a good job. And so Rogan pushed back, and Tech started feeling this tension, and then Rank got involved, and that was where the powder keg lit.
Right, that was the first time that we were exploring that concept too, of a chief versus like an enlisted officer.
Enlisted versus, because I just to close this one out, I will say that I remember that session very well. I remember that Rogan, one of the reasons that motivated Rogan to get a little incensed was he was helping Azuri staff the Ross and had selected Tech, and then Tech was kind of embarrassing him in front of the captain and making like it was one of those moments where Tech was being borderline insubordinate, and Rogan was like, okay, let's not make me look like an idiot in front of the captain here. Like
well, then don't be an idiot, Rogan. It's simple.
Here's the next question. This is from Bossamix. Sam, what made you decide to play a biped this game?
Sure. I play bipeds in a lot of games. More broadly speaking, I also play non-disabled characters in a lot of games, and I think under the hood that might be part of what this question is asking. And I am so deeply invested in particular kinds of stories with disability and making sure that those are done right. Every time I play a disabled character, there's a lot of care in it, and it is often to advance a particular notion of disability in the world, because speculative settings are ultimately reflections of us, and sometimes that is not the aim of the character that I'm playing, and that's also okay. That I would never want to see marginalized performers pigeonholed or solely valuable for representation, because I look across this crew and there's just, that is valuable. They as performers are tremendously valuable, and those perspectives come through no matter what. And I think that's exactly what you see on the Ross. Sure, Sol is a biped, but everything about this ship is really, access philosophy is in the hull plating. It's just all the way through. And that's what I really enjoy, that the thinking, crypt thinking is there. And that matters to me far more than whether my character walks on their legs, which, who knows? By the end of this game, they may not. I don't know how combat's gonna go. Apparently everyone else in this group's in love with it. So we're gonna have it all the time, and who knows? Maybe characters can acquire disabilities. I don't know. We live in a wild world.
I thought we established that I will throw myself in front of any crew member. I cannot be hurt. No.
So we're actually 5 minutes away from we were scheduled to end at 8:30 tonight, and we still got a ton of questions. I'm going to save a lot of these so we get to answer the questions y'all have taken the time to ask us. We definitely want to get around to it, and we'll find a way to answer these questions for you guys, and we really appreciate you submitting all of this stuff. I've had to bounce around a little bit, but we have this wonderful document that the mods have created. We'll modify it based off of the questions that have been answered, and we'll save them so that we can get to the questions that y'all have asked. Because a lot of these have been pretty wonderful. I'm going to get to 2 more questions. And the first one is, to round this out, Shards of Blue asks Sam, as someone recently diagnosed on the spectrum, I've been wondering if Lacey was autistic in canon. They had a lot of traits I recognized and identified with. Thank you. This is a Callisto 6 question.
Good. I'm very, very glad that character landed. That was very important to me. And yes, absolutely. Lacey's autistic. And it's one of those things where it is very, very important to explicitly name check that sort of thing, because we need to know that happens in, that people say it, and it's more than just coding. We get a lot of autistic coding in media and far fewer autistic characters. I deeply wish I had more effectively found my hook to articulate that with my word things, but endeavored always with Lacey to create a fully realized person. I think what characterized Lacey the most for me was their empathy and their expansive view of personhood. And I think being autistic and the experiences that you get interacting with neurotypical people, frankly, as a result of that, absolutely drove how Lacey would never miss a chance to see someone who might be a person as a person. There are these terrible stereotypes about autistic people lacking empathy, and so often it's anything but. Autistic people are incredibly empathetic so often, and I wanted to do right by that person and by that character, and I hope that I did.
We love Lacey. Okay, so I'm going to curate, let's see, let me pull one more question. Let's see if I can pull a question for the crew. And this is like a good wrap-up question for everybody. Why don't I do this? Why don't I ask you a personal question? We'll put these questions on hold, and I would love to ask y'all, what has been your favorite moment in Clear Sky so far, and what What has been your favorite moment in Clear Skies so far, and what was one of the things that you were most excited to about coming back to Star Trek as an RPG? And we'll start with you, Gina.
I can answer if you want. I saw the panic face on Dina.
Andrew's chomping at the bit over there.
Yeah. Well, to answer the second question first, for me, it was exciting to be a part of a main cast of a Star Trek show, because in Shield of Tomorrow and Callisto 6, I was a guest that would come in every once in a while. Yeah. So for me, this has been really special, of just getting to kind of breathe a bit and not having to come in with a point or some sort of plot thing to give or whatever. I can sort of see where this character goes. So that's what I was excited about in playing Star Trek this time. And I have to say, my favorite moment so far comes from Ravity, with the moment between Tech and Jane, because, and I love this in certain players that I've played with in the past, Julia Dennis from Relics and Rarities being one of them, in that I just did not see it coming whatsoever, and it took me, Xander, aback, and I didn't know, like, and it's so, I don't know, it's just such a gift for me to be in that state, that it was just so memorable for me, of like, I genuinely don't know how to react or say, and that stuck with me so much. So thank you for that gift, Ravity.
How about you?
For me, just coming back into Star Trek is so special, because it's such an important part of my life, and it's one of my favorite franchises. So just coming back, and also it's just like, let's get the gang back together. It was like, it was playing with people that I care so much about and trust so much at a table, that I was so excited when we all decided to do this, because I was like, oh my gosh, when Callisto 6 ended, it was like gut wrenching, just to not be able to see everyone once a week. And so that's the best thing, just seeing everyone's face once a week again. For Macrell, I think my favorite moment so far, besides the chief medical officer of the Klingon base, just having that one scene where like there was so much tension and like what's gonna happen, and nothing happened, which was great. But I feel just the moment that Gina made for us when doing that event on the promenade, and having that moment of putting up the little Cation boy on the wall, and just planting a seed of some kind of backstory was really special, because I know it just doesn't answer any questions and just asks too many.
Thank you for correcting me, Bonnie. We have 3 GMs at the table. Thank you for that correction. It's important to note that. So GM Gina, now how about you?
Now I do have my answer, because Xander said it. I immediately I remember the moment that Rave, when you just shouted, basically, if your brother had thought this way, he'd probably be alive, or what, I don't even remember the exact sentence. I just remember it immediately affecting me, and I wasn't even in the scene. And I remember we went to break not long after, and I remember immediately just turning to you and being like, I don't know if you're panicking about how incredible, or
I was.
You were panicking. I could tell you were panicking. So I just wanted to immediately be like, that was so fucking cool. Like, from an RP standpoint, what an incredible gift, what an incredible character choice, because it felt like those kinds of moments are when you're just fucking feeling it, when you are your character in that moment, because you've said something that surprised yourself, it surprised the person across from you, it surprised the table. Those moments that are so cool, that's when collaborative storytelling is just at its freaking best. And I very much remember I went home and I thought about it for hours, and was just like, yes, okay, cool. Like, it's a moment that it makes even the best storytellers and best players go, fuck, I gotta step up my game. Like, that was, exactly. I gotta give more. I gotta dive deeper. I gotta, there was so much magic in that moment. And it was like, never doubt for 1 minute, like, you're not a newbie of any sort. You are an incredible storyteller, Rave, and you are an incredible friend and an incredible gift giver in every sense of the word, whether it's emotional or just as a person. That moment was fucking cool.
I just want to add to that, it was gutsy as fuck, because the truth of the matter is when it comes to live streaming games like this and making character choices, it can be terrifying to consider the fact that you might make a character choice. Let me put it this way. Marisha has shown me the messages she got during the first campaign of Critical Role for the choices that she was making that she felt like were prevalent to her character Keyleth. And they were usually choices that were pretty deliberate. And even when it was a mess up, no big deal. But when you live stream these game sessions, especially when as players, as people like us who really enjoy living the lives of the character, getting really entrenched in the authenticity of the moment, and we will make those mistakes or make bold choices, it can be terrifying because when the cameras go off, Twitter's waiting for you, or you know what I mean, or like the forum posts are there are some times where it can be scary to think of how there's going to be an audience reaction to some of the things you do. We're very fortunate because Ox Crew, Super Punks, all y'all are incredible, like incredible. And when Jane eviscerated Tech in that snap one-liner out of the blue, like full on knifed him right there at the bar. What I loved about that moment is because it was so shocking and kind of shocked us all into, what did she just say? What I loved about that is all of the messages that I saw across Twitter and across Discord was shock at Jane, not anger at Rave. Most everybody was just like, oh my God, like, Jane, what were you thinking? Like, there was just such this association and care and love that went into it. And it spoke well of not only the bold decision and the bold character choice that you made, Rave, which as Gina put and as Bonnie has put and as Xander has put, was such a gift. But it speaks really well to the incredible fandom that has built up around the stuff that we're doing and the community that has surrounded us, because they took care of us that night too, without us really even, like, they took care of us. They took care of Rave, and they protected the integrity of the game by honoring the fact that this was a hurtful thing that was said by a character and was an impulsive character choice on behalf of a player. That kind of community building and that kind of care that's coming from the Ox Crew, it permits stories to be told with abandon, and it gives us permission to play hard. And it's such a wonderful synergy that we get to build with you guys, and super appreciative of that fact. And I can't wait to see what other you guys always. It's easy to poke fun at Vren, but I'm just saying the real goose here, the real chaos machine is Lacat. Hands down is Lacat.
Was that not understood?
I don't know.
I
don't know if that
yeah,
was understood.
Command knows.
It's totally Lacat.
It's in her file. No, I just wanted to say, I love that you guys are like, hey, we didn't expect that to come from you, because I don't think I expected that to come from me in that moment. It just happened. And I think the reason it happened is because, as Gina mentioned, I was just so into it and so into the collaborative storytelling element. And that I wouldn't have felt that way. I wouldn't have been that immersed if it hadn't been for literally everyone creating that space at the table. Eric with his GMing, even like Tech with like the scene work we were doing, like y'all were totally part of that. And like literally if any bit of that had been missing, I don't think that would have happened. So I love you guys. You're the best people to play with. You make me better.
Would anybody else like to jump in as we wrap this up? Favorite moments from Clear Skies, and what excited you about coming back to Star Trek?
So I only got to play Star Trek twice, and the second time I played, I didn't even roll a die. In fact, and this is not meant to in a bad way whatsoever, by the time Shield of Tomorrow ended, Dot was no longer my character. Dot was Eric's character, and that's okay. I was totally all right with that because he played her excellently, and I loved every choice that he made for her. Olin is my character, and I get to play them, and I get to breathe them and figure out who they are, and I'm really excited about that. And one of the things that I was the most nervous about was like my first really in-depth diplomatic scene with General Kargan was I was so terrified that whole scene, like just scared out of my mind that I was really just going to screw it up. And I really desperately wanted to land that first real foray into diplomacy for Olin because it was going to set the tone for all of their successes and failures moving forward. And playing that opposite of Eric and like and really getting to live in that moment, because by the time we were done with that, I had no idea what I had said. I had to go back and rewatch that scene several times. I was like, what even did I say? Yeah, I like, for me as a character, that moment was super important, and it meant a lot to me, because I feel like that was the first moment that I really got to figure out who Olin was as a diplomat in general. So yeah, that's my answer.
You, Sam?
Coming back to Trek was perhaps more difficult for me than for a lot of the crew. I am so proud of the work that we did on Shield of Tomorrow and like the story that I got to tell with Junil Rue really felt like the story that I wanted to tell and the character that I wanted to have as my entry in Trek. It was genuinely challenging to find anyone else who could ever possibly matter to me as much as Rue did.
Right.
But from challenge comes creativity. So find the challenge to find someone who could live in my heart after that made an opportunity for some really rewarding stuff. It meant I sat a long time with my temp character, Captain Crunch, while I was thinking about it. But at the end, I think what I am most excited about coming back to Trek is just how challenging that was. Just how hard it was to ever think of telling a story after Rue, and then doing it anyway. And
because it's important to note, little peek behind the curtain, Azari Sol was not your first captain.
No, I think we've talked about that, right? That my first one was a Denobulin and just very obviously designated as a temp character, but we full on like ran a bunch of practice scenes as a group with them. And
I have to say too, Sam Denobulin is a very special flavor that I love playing off of.
Yeah, Sam Denobulin is pretty interesting. Yeah, I think to answer the question for me, it was actually, even though like developing Clear Skies was my idea, Clear Skies originally was going to be my pitch for another season of Shield of Tomorrow. When the situations changed, we were presented with an opportunity to do something fresh and new, and we decided to seize on that and just do a whole new universe. But in truth, deep down, I struggled a little bit as well, because we told such a complete and wonderful story on Shield of Tomorrow. I honestly didn't know where we would go from here. And that is actually what ended up exciting me the most, because the truth of the matter is we're the owners of this story now. Like, we get to dictate the destiny of this game and where it goes. Despite all the wonderful resources and opportunities we had on Shield of Tomorrow, we just didn't have that as one of them. Which is why the name Clear Skies for the show came so easily to us after like pitching around. I mean, we only went through 2 rounds of like trying to name the show. And like, I mean, it took a while to like incorporate their list, but Clear Skies came, like, we landed on that pretty easily. And a lot of Clear Skies wasn't just the sentiment of wishing someone well and wishing someone clear skies, but it was also visiting the sentiment of the fact that now we are masters of our own destiny and charting our own course. It is Clear Skies. That's what originally got me excited about coming back to Star Trek, because I knew that this was an opportunity to really explore Trek in a way that we've always wanted to do it. And my favorite moments of the show thus far is a little more off the map. It's my favorite moments of the show has been the moment that I experience when we're going to our cars after the game has finished. Everyone's wrapped up. We're saying our holy shits, I can't believe that happened. everyone's saying goodnight to everybody, saying, hey, let's talk about, this is something I want to do with my character next time, so let's talk about this. When we break and go to our cars, every single time I'm walking out to my car, I have the realization of, man, that was better than it was the last time. It just feels more comfortable. There are things about Clear Skies that I didn't get to experience on A Shielded Tomorrow. You guys we have become so comfortable with each other as a gaming group. We are so much more prepared. We are so much more able to anticipate like how the character choices that we all want to make. Do you know what I mean? We're so much better at communicating. There's a cohesion that we have now that we just didn't have yet because we were still like level 10 and when we were doing Shield of Tomorrow, now being much higher level. There's every night at the end of every game, my favorite moment is that moment I realized that I just want it to be Monday again. I just want it to be Monday night again already. And it's why I get so hungry and want to run more Star Trek games. And why I'm trying to shoehorn everybody into, hey guys, listen, if I ran a one-shot on Filthy Casual Fridays, would you guys want to come play that? So speaking of which, as I'm wrapping this up, there's two things I wanted to talk to you guys about real quick before we wrap this up, because we went over time, and thank you so much to the cast for chilling with me, because I know some of us may have had to have left early, but we ended up staying late because this was a lot of fun. We're going to get to your questions, so we're going to save the questions that we haven't answered yet. So don't fret if you didn't get a question answered. We were going to do a 2-hour session tonight because we're not playing a game. And oh, look at the doggy. So the two things that I was going to talk to you guys about next week, we're going to, instead of jumping back into the game of Clear Skies, instead of jumping back into the main campaign, we are talking about playing a special Star Trek Adventures one-shot as a way of testing the tech, but also to take this opportunity. Before we jump back into the main campaign, to adapt to the remote role-playing, but also use this as an opportunity to explore more of the Trek first. So I pitched an idea to the group of us running a one-shot Star Trek Adventures of something that's not necessarily what you would already see that we have done. To give you guys a hint, one of the things that I've kicked around is, why don't we play a one-shot of a team from Starfleet Intelligence and what's been going on in the Alpha Quadrant. Let's explore. We're still kicking around ideas, and we're probably going to announce it sometime this week, but we're still like talking about one of the things that would really excite us. And we've kicked around a lot of ideas. What about for a bunch of colonists on the frontier worlds, maybe near the Romulan neutral zone, and we're just trying to like eke out our lives together? What if this was a crew of merchants having to escape what's left of the Orion Trades crime syndicate? You know, let's see what happens. And let's see when we would play it. We're kicking around a bunch of different ideas, but we thought we would take this as an opportunity to play a really cool one-shot so we could show an aspect of Star Trek Adventures that hasn't been explored yet. And then, in the following week, we would jump right back into the Clear Skies campaign. So, Clear Skies is going to continue. We're probably going to be doing this remote for a while until things chill the F out. Which leads me into the second announcement that I was going to make. And this one is not pertaining necessarily to Clear Skies, but just so you guys know, this afternoon, after having a really great live stream today on my personal Twitch channel, me and the Whimsies built an RPG that is being played live on Twitter right now. So if you want to go check it out, it's actually doing quite well. Anybody can play it. And this is an RPG that is designed specifically just to keep bad brain away during a time of isolation. I hope you guys will check it out. It's using a very specific hashtag. It's called Distant Contact RPG. And the premise is that each one of us is in our own habitation pod on an alien planet. And we have been confined to our habitation pods because there is a celestial phenomenon or a solar storm caused a bunch of atmospheric interference. And it is dangerous to go outside. So if you have to go outside, you are expected to report on it. using the Distant Contact RPG hashtag, and keep in contact with each other and give yourselves mission reports. You can name your habitation pod. You get to come up with a name. Mine is Habitation Pod -01 Punk Fluff. That is the name of my habitation pod. And there's a bunch. That is one of the things that you have to name. You have to name your habitation pod. And beyond that, it's checking in with each other. And the rules are currently up. There's only 4 rules, and they're currently up on my Twitter account. So go check it out as a way of like keeping in contact with each other. If bad brain comes up and anxiety and depression are hitting, or you're getting a little bit of cabin fever, reach out to the other habitation pods, because we're all in this together. We're all kind of like, needing to reach out and chat to people. And make sure to reach out to us. And we're going to see you guys Monday. I'm going to be back live streaming Wednesday. Xander's going to be streaming. We're all just going to stream whenever we can. We will catch you guys Monday night, 6:30 p.m., same time. We're going to be doing a remote stream just like this. And we will keep you guys updated as to what's going on with our Star Trek one-shot. This is just like for funsies, and we're going to play the hell out of it. And I'm really excited about it. Do you guys, real quick, I forgot to tell you the name of our planet, and this was, and this one of the members of our chat came up with this. But the name of the planet, because we're the League of Whimsy, somebody named the planet WHM-51. So there you go, because the Ox crew is and League of Whimsies are way more clever than me. I think that's going to do it for us tonight, guys, unless there's any other announcements that you guys want to make. Do you guys have any special announcements as we wrap this up?
Everything is canceled.
We have no
announcements. I'm going to be posting more original music and like cover songs and stuff on my personal YouTube, and I'll be posting those all over social media. If y'all saw today, I posted Rainbow Connection on like my Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and stuff. So keep lookout for that. I'm going to try and do one like once every other day, or a new song every couple days. So yeah, that's all I do. Isolation.
All I could think when you said that just now, Bonnie, was everything is canceled.
Trust me, Rave and I, this entire stream have been, and I know it, Rave, I know it. You and I have been fighting every single time someone says it's Ben. Every single time someone.
It's Ben.
It's been
No. Thank you, everybody, for coming to this live Q&A here on QueueTimes Twitch with the cast of Clear Skies. So, for Eric Campbell, Xander, John Ray, Bonnie Gordon, Raven Domsay, Gina DeVivo, and Aki Benson, I am Sam DeLev. Eric, you want to take us out?
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Hailing frequencies are now closed.